This is the Cadence of Life podcast, where we interview music professionals and entrepreneurs and learn the ins and outs of their career. Hey, welcome back to the Cadence of Life podcast show. This is your host, Jeff Strahan, a.k.a. your boy, Jay Reed. Man, I would just like to thank everybody for tuning in every single Friday night at 9 p.m. Today, we have a special guest. My guest today has performed at the Scratch House, Plush, Rudamea, a few different bars, and even a show with Paul Wall. He has a feature with Insane Poetry, Cool Keith, K Rhino, and many more. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome an Austin, Texas rapper that goes by the name Clay-doh, the World Destroyer.
Yeah, woo, yeah. Good to see you. Good to see you, Jay Reed.
Welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
Cadence of Life.
Already, man, already. So, man, what is it like doing performances around Austin?
It's a mixed bag. A lot of awesome artists. They definitely have strong opinions about it. I mean, it's I'll say it's much like, Play-Doh. I mean, you can kind of make what you want with it, and there's, all the different niches are there. Austin is a very eclectic, diverse type town. Well, it usually has been. And so that's good. And it's, a lot of people are musicians out here. That's good, right? But, I don't think the city really wants too many hip hop shows. Pretty sure about that, and that's fine. But, I would say to anybody experiencing fatigue from, not getting the shows they want, or there's only so many shows to choose from, and it's not necessarily super received in the press around here and stuff like that. I would say if you have an organic live band behind you, your chances of doing shows increase dramatically. They like that. They will support that. And I'm not saying there's nobody that's not successful out here doing traditional rap hip hop. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it's a little bit different maybe than some other cities and towns, and some other cities and towns are kind of the same way. It's like you got a lot of underground stuff going on, and we have our communities. It's not necessarily put on the front page.
Yeah, I would agree with that too, man. I feel like the early 2000s, man, there was a lot of different clubs here. There was a lot of places to perform, but the hip hop scene has dwindled down a lot here. And since it's a music capital city of the world, I think that you're right. Having a full band behind you is it's like the ticket in the door in a sense.
They like that. It doesn't even really matter how good your music is. Like if you have a jamming live band behind you, they're gonna support that. People will support that. Maybe that's just natural. Maybe that's just the crowd that's kind of evolved into what it is. You can notice that change when it happened over a process, like you said, about 20 years, slowly but surely. You walk down 6th Street, you hear a lot of garage bands. You hear a lot of the traditional garage band style, like they might play whatever, punk, rock, folk, a lot of folk, blues and stuff. You're gonna hear a lot of that. And then if there's to be hip hop, it'll usually be DJs doing top 40 stuff. And there might be one or two clubs where you could find a show, or a DJ that's just slamming down some more obscure, or just real more underground, just true to the hip hop roots type stuff. So you
Yeah, I
have to
agree
look,
with that.
you have to know where that is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like when people come down here, and a lot of people aren't from here, so they get their little ideas of what this is, and they'll say that because that's what gets promoted. And I think some of that has to do with, you know, rap and hip hop was a little more controversial back then. Like you said, it was popular just as much. I mean, maybe it's more popular now, but it was a lot more street oriented too. And I think
Yeah.
club owners that didn't necessarily like the drama that came with that, which is ironic to me because you can find that same level of drama at, you know, a heavy metal show or a punk rock show, or, you know, you might still be able to capture that you know, the, you know, people are rowdy, you know, they could be
Yeah.
rowdy, they could be
See, back
rowdy
in
at
the early
a club
2000s,
only,
man, we used to do shows where we would have like graffiti artists on hand, and we would have like break dancers and like all this different, style. But nowadays, you can't do
yeah.
any of that.
You can do a little bit. I mean, you know, that's one thing I'll say. Who I've been distributing through, and I've been doing a lot of work with, and that's my family members right there. Extended family, college of hip hop knowledge. There's one reason why I really admired them, and I was really happy to get, you know, to work with them more and more recently, because they have a good kind of antidote for that, what you're talking about right there, and they try real hard to, you know, make sure the four pillars are represented. And so that's been getting some traction, and I'm liking that because they're, like you said, they're very purist like that. And so when you go to a CHHK show, you know you're going to get a good experience of how, you know, somebody that's like orthodox hip hop religion, that's what they're going to want, you know, especially when they do good with the old school style stuff, but they do, you know, they do the new age stuff too. And so that's good because that's how, you know, that's how it should be presented. You know, they're not the only ones doing things out here, but I liked that approach about it. And they also, another good thing I can say about them, they always want to cater to the artist, in a sense of, they're doing local shows. They don't charge cats. You know, a lot of people were complaining about that a couple of years ago. Like, they call it pay to play, and made a lot of people upset because promoters, you know, with that little bit of real estate they have, that they, you know, have access to, because it's not so much competition everywhere, they can charge people for a 5 minute slot or a 15 or whatever.
Yeah, I
And
agree with that.
we're upset about it because they're like, well, dang, I can't get on the mic unless I pay. And so I'm sure that bothered them too, which is it is a little weird because it's like, you know, they weren't exactly trying to get bodies in the crowd. They were, you know, trying to make money off artists, kind of is what it came off like. So they don't do that. But they're staunchly against that. So that was cool too. You know, so I mean, you know, I got on a couple shows with them that way, and you know, it was good to make a good, you know, business relationship, and they're good people too. You know, that's nice when you got an outfit that's not trying to be P Diddy, or it's no one's trying to
Right,
be
right, right.
you with your stuff and you get your masters, or, you know, no one's trying to stab somebody in the back type thing that, you know, happens a lot in the music world, not just hip hop. These guys are real straightforward business
Now,
guys.
as far as like the scratch houses, I've heard that a lot of people go there for like a lot of the open mics and stuff like that. I used to work with a couple artists that go there for the open mic night. Did you
Oh yeah,
actually perform
R.I.P.
there?
Scratch House. Yeah, R.I.P. Scratch House. Yeah, you know they closed, huh?
Oh yeah, I guess because of COVID, right?
Well, yeah. Not everybody closed though, but they did, and so that was, I know that hurt them because that was like a good little mecca. So there's always been a few places where any artist can go, and what's cool, you know, in this town, because uh these open mics are pretty cool actually, because you could get people that just barely started rapping that year, but you could get somebody that's been in the game, seasoned, you know, veteran on the mic right next to him after that. So you get a good grab bag, you know. That's why I'm messing with now this is, well, we're 2021. I'm glad you brought that up. This spot is doing it too. Buck's Backyard.
Yeah. I was gonna tell the listeners about that. You got that show coming up, January 14th at the Bucks backyard.
Tomorrow. Yeah. Or well, okay, yeah, it's Thursday, this Thursday of this week. Uh,
Yeah, it would be
I, I
January
don't
14th.
I don't know the date today, man. I just get beamed down, whenever somebody summons me, which I don't know how you got the passcodes to do it. And I just show up. Sometimes I might have been, on like a desert island with a drink and everything. I don't necessarily know the date, but I'm still thinking about it. It's in my BlackBerry. But yeah, Buck's Backyard. And so I was real impressed. I went there last week. We had a good time, and shouts out to Wood Shop and Paul Miller, PM Jams, Bugs Backyard. Man, they got real good taste. I noticed because they did it right. They had blues set open up. They had a comedy hour, stand up comedy, and they were funny. Those guys were good.
Oh,
And
really?
then quote unquote open mic, really geared towards hip hop. But that was good. And people might say that, oh, open mic, and I feel like I've done some good shows. I'm not gonna be like, oh, open mic, that's a slide backwards. To me, that's kind of, I understand if you already touring and doing so many shows, you might be like, you might want to skip it, maybe to save your breath or whatever. But if you're trying to display, you're trying to showcase, it's just a legitimate show.
Man, I
Perform.
used to work with artists that would literally be out doing big, huge shows, and they would do open mic nights just to come in and just wreck.
Yeah, sometimes those are the best shows because people are trying out new stuff and they're a little more liberated or less encumbered because the big show, and that's a hip hop thing too, to be organic and seize that moment might be kind of unexpected. When you prepare for a show for a month or two, you might be prepared for it or you might not. You might be like, feel some type of way about it. You might come out here and maybe it's a little more casual, right? I don't look at it like that. Maybe it's a little more casual so I could just kind of be more experimental. And like you said, especially when people are freestyling more often, I'm going to come in there and just say whatever I want now. I don't care. And it might be the gold. It might be it might be the stuff that you really want to say wouldn't have said for your heavily promoted show or whatever.
Right. Exactly. I
It
mean,
doesn't
some of that
matter
stuff
when you're in
you could
front of the crowd. It
freestyle,
could be, that crowd could be there just for the blues. You still got to give them your A game. You can't just be like, oh yeah, no, this isn't my niche crowd. And, and I'm a niche artist myself, but if I'm any good at it, I should appeal to people that they might not listen to hip hop.
exactly. So what was it like doing that show with Paul Wall?
That was a good show. Blue Jay Promotions brought down Paul Wall. It was good. It was a good opportunity to work a good crowd, and Austin came out for it, so it was fun. Got showed a little. People showed a little more interest for that, so it's like like we were talking about earlier. It's not exactly usually sometimes it's just not like when somebody says they're an artist from Austin, people can dismiss that just based off that. Well, so people that might do that or whatever, people made time for Paul Wall is what I'm saying, which they should. So it was a good event, and it was good to have some, people that I didn't normally hear from. They wanted to come, show support.
That's what's up, man. I'm glad it turned out good. Now, have you done any shows since COVID?
Yeah, I've been doing this, like I said, the Bucks Backyard. There was Longhorns Daiquiri is doing the same thing. They have a good sound system right there on Riverside. It was DJ Frank White. He's been doing some of what we're talking about
Okay.
style shows. Call it an open mic. But I don't see people at these open mics around town that are like slacking. It's like I could go to open mic. I don't know who's on the show. I'll be entertained at that show with this talent level that we. There's a lot of artists out there, that are extremely talented. You might not have heard of them. You know.
Yeah. Now I've also heard that Spinners up in Pflugerville do a little something too, an open mic.
Yeah, I heard something about. I'd like to find out. I like that spot, man. The kitchen is good.
Yeah, they're right off of Wells Branch and 35. I used to go in there every now and then and catch a show. I haven't been there in years, but I heard they still popping live over there.
Yeah, I went over there for it was Smacky's show, Black Tea Talk. It was a pretty good experience. They did it was smart. He broadcast his podcast in there. He had a whole panel set up and he was tossing them questions. He didn't have to do much talking because they were just devouring each other for those controversial topics. I was entertained by that. They were
That's
cool.
what's up, man. That's what's up.
Showed up.
So, as far as your music, do you have anything new that's coming out? Are you not dropping a new album, maybe a new single or anything?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. I got a new single coming out. I'm about to submit it to CHHK here shortly, within the next day or two. I'm real excited about it. I was busy last year. I had an album and an EP, and a book. I got a book last year. I'm still promoting last year. It's on Amazon. It's good. It's good. I got paperbacks too. It's a good read. It's called The Ordeal by Clay-doh, The World Destroyer. It's on Amazon.
That's what's up, man.
The Ordeal Part 1, Freeney. Freeney. Just like Dwight Freeney, like the linebacker. But it's not really about football. But like you said, what am I doing this year? I'm still trying to promote everything I did last year. The internet was clogged. It's kind of not always easy to get your voice heard. When you got something to promote because there's a lot of people that are online.
Yeah,
Especially
sure.
last year, and so now that things are kind of trying to get a little closer to normal. There's a little bit more attention that people have to look at stuff they would maybe not normally look at. So I'm trying to still beat that drum. 2019 I had a good album, Freddie versus Jason for President of the United States of America. And you see my banner. I do that a lot. I like to make fun of politics. Trump is a comedy gold mine. So that aspect of
You
him,
ain't lying.
but it was pretty funny too, though. So like, I feel like we're still in good hands as far as the political realm comedy. That some of it's not funny, but I think that it's a good part of my shtick that I do. Is kind of make fun of that, but also draw metaphors to it, what have you. I do horrorcore, so you got the presidential seal. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah.
It's a mixture between Freddie and Jason. I got, this isn't the final version that I've been passing out. If you see it online, you'll see all those dots above the hockey mask will be severed heads and stuff. So it's kind of fun, and that's been a good T-shirt to sell. But
That's what's up, man.
I say all
You
that to
got
say
little merch
this.
that you sell too, huh?
Yeah, I got all kinds of merch, bro. People like the book. It's good. It is very relevant too. All this stuff that I do, the message should pertain, of course, to go forward, but everything that's going on in the news and, your daily life, I think you would benefit from my content. The book's a little bit different, but, I do rap a lot about the battle between good and evil. Maybe you don't believe in angels and demons and devils and stuff. a lot of people do, you know. And besides that, it's a good concept to use as a vehicle to tell these stories, you know. And so I kind of give a good glimpse in this book about the whole scheme concerning, you know, demons, demonology on this planet and their role here. And I think it's pretty good info. It's fiction, but it gives a lot that pertains to this world and the circumstances we're facing now.
That's what's up, dude. That's what's up. Like, yeah, man. I could see how being a writer as an artist, you could definitely, write a book about fictional stuff and just kind of have your, own little lane with that. That's pretty neat, man.
Yeah, it's good because you know, and that's some of the stuff about, you know, the kind of rap that I do. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, I might have, you know, X amount of body parts dismembered in a dumpster, you know, in the alley right now. But just because I'm rapping about it doesn't mean that you have to take it like maybe I should, you know, hack somebody's arm off with a circular saw, bag that up in a trash bag just because Clay-doh rapping about it, you know, he gets down like that. No, I mean, it could be a metaphor too, you know, is what I'm trying to say. Also, with the subject
Right.
matter of the book, also with the political realm stuff too. I mean, you know, sometimes the truest things that are said are not facts. Like it's not a something you're gonna read in a textbook or that you can do the math about. Doesn't mean it's not true, or it doesn't mean it's not a metaphor for something that is true.
That is
That's what
true,
I.
man. That is real true. I feel like, I think that all rappers kind of have, something that they talk about. It's really like any type of writing or music is a form of venting in a sense. Kind of getting stuff off your chest, and sometimes it's not always what everybody thinks is the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think a good musician should be doing stuff like that. Maybe not everyone agrees with me. I mean, I know at a certain point you want to sell records, and uh, by that logic, you should say stuff that people want to hear. You know what I mean? You should be agreeable,
Yeah.
presentable, right? Okay, not necessarily my style. So that's why I say that I feel like all that stuff is great and I love it. And, you know, I'm down with all that. What really impresses me is when someone could be different. You know, I want to hear what you want to say, what you don't say. I want to hear an artist say stuff that he thinks but doesn't want to say out loud, or say stuff that other people might think but they don't want to say it out loud. If something makes you uncomfortable, that's part of the psychology. You know, a good psychologist is going to make you uncomfortable.
Right.
So I definitely don't shy from that in my music, you know, and that's not for everyone. Some people don't like being uncomfortable, right? Other people might already be uncomfortable, and that little bit of you relating that discomfort with them could be comforting in itself. Thought about that? All right.
Right. Right. Right.
So it's, you know, that's a little bit harder road though, because that mentality is not necessarily promoted, just like the hip hop in this town. You know, it's there, not necessarily on the front page, right?
Right. Exactly.
You know, that's the duality of it.
Well, yeah, man. It's definitely been fun picking your brain and hearing about all your cool experiences, man. Is there anywhere that you want the listeners to check out your music?
Yeah. Get on Spotify. Clay-doh, the World Destroyer. There can only be one destroyer of worlds. You're looking at it right now. I don't know if that's comforting or not. I mean, you might not agree with my message. You might not like what I have to say. You might want to pay attention to what I'm saying, because you know you don't have to agree with me, but this world could get popped anytime. All I gotta do is press one button. You might want to take heed to what I'm saying. Clay-doh, the World Destroyer. You know, all platforms, all digital platforms, YouTube, all social media platforms, Instagram, Clay-doh, TWD, CLAY, TWD. Just Google me. Clay-doh, the World Destroyer. Clay -DOH, the World Destroyer. Do it.
That's what's up, man. Well, for all the listeners out there, man, y'all go ahead and go check him out on all of his links. Be sure to listen to all his music on Spotify, YouTube, all that kind of stuff, man. And definitely go check him out tomorrow at Buck's Backyard. He's gonna be out there performing. So that is definitely a an awesome show for you guys.
Free.
So just want to say, man, this is Jeff Strahan, aka your boy Jay Reed. You're listening to the Cadence of Life podcast show, and we're out.
Hey.
Thank you for listening to Cadence of Life podcast. Check us out on Facebook, the Cadence of Life podcast. You can check out your boy Jay Reed or any of his music, Beats by Jay Reed, YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Thank you again for listening. See you next time.